5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This is your creamy era. It really is.
Is creamy a euphemism for fat?
No, but it is also your fat era. But I must say, I do like squeezing your little fat and then having you squeal when I do. It's a very funny and natural noise. And plus, you look good. You still look good. You do. You're just like a more
version?
inflated version of the hot self you are. Usually. But yeah, no, you look great. You look very creamy these days, Albie.
I think that just means fat.
No, it doesn't.
You're the reason why.
No, stop. We're not.
Let's have some fun together. We'll be best friends forever. BFF,
Hey.
that stands for us. They're fine.
2 more inches. That's, I don't know. Alice was debating me.
Splash's dog does not like that. You should stop playing.
What's the kind of dog is Splash? I need to know. Can I just tell you? Can I just tell you? Trump with the new WAPO York Yankees there today is a good thing. Is an absolutely good thing. Trump had the Yankees not the Yankees, the Dodgers. Jesus. Trump had the Dodgers in. They won the World Series, so he had them in, and he was very funny. He called out because California senators are there, so that's Adam Schiff. And who's the other one? It's not Di-Fi's gone, right? And Barbara Box is gone, so
I don't even remember.
I don't even know who the other one is. Senator. Who the hell is the other senator?
Oh, look at him.
You know, I should really know this.
We probably should really know this. Sorry, why don't you continue while I look it up?
Wow.
Phil, Tom. Alex Padilla.
Oh, I've not heard of him. Here's Trump today with the Dodgers.
Congratulations, Brian. And others, we have a couple of senators here. I just don't particularly like them, so I won't introduce. Over the course of this amazing season, the members of this team. I didn't think it was that big a deal, actually. It's Washington. Over the course of this amazing season, the members of this team gave us some of the most...
It tells you that he's in on the joke a lot. No, it was a very funny thing. He very much enjoyed it.
Well, he also, today, is going to go down in history as the day Trump came up with a new word that's going to rival, like, kofefe and some of these
This
other
one's a good one, though. Kofefe is...
so good. This is so good. From now on, if you are upset that the stock market is crashing because of Trump's tariff policy, which, like, I mean, okay, I get it. Like, less than half of Americans even have 401ks or whatever, and or around half, whatever. So it's not affecting Main Street right now. But, like, this is pretty extreme stuff for anyone who's in business. And I know that it hasn't reached Main Street yet, but we can talk about this more later. But if this continues and becomes a permanent situation, it's all well and good until companies start laying people off, and then it will affect Main Street. And that will, this is real to the companies whose stock is on Wall Street, and this is real to some other people. The impacts will ripple out, but for now, it's still not affecting Main Street, so we can laugh, right? So, but if this bothers you that the stock market is tanking, and that anytime there's like a glimmer of hope and things start to recover, Trump puts out a statement to clarify that he's absolutely not going to back off the tariffs just to watch it crash again. If you're upset about this, you're now a Panican, which is the new Republican Party for people who are wimpy about tariffs, which is, it's just the funniest word I think I've ever heard.
And it's spelled P-I-C...
It's like Republican.
Well, I thought it was like Pelican, but you're panicking.
It's the new political party for losers. Where's his actual tweet with it?
The United States has a chance to do something that should have been done decades ago. Don't be weak. Don't be stupid. Don't be a Panican. A new party based on weak and stupid people. Be strong, courageous, and patient. The greatness will be
it's
the
a
result.
political party like a Republican. You can be a Republican, a Democrat, or a Panican.
It's a great word, actually. It really is. It really is.
Oh my goodness. But I mean, at some point, like, I don't know. It hasn't affected me yet, so I can still laugh about it. And
Once again, Alice, you and I are moored by the safety of the poverty line.
yes, our net worth has not decreased. So
Correct. It's as robust as ever.
But yeah, like, and that's true of a lot of people. This is not real to a lot of people yet. There's been a lot of discourse about this. I mean, Steve from Gloucester obviously called in about this. If you listen, if you're one of the people who doesn't bail before the chat, then you heard Steve from Gloucester talk about this yesterday, that this is not impacting Main Street, right?
Did you see what he sent us subsequently?
Like a post about on Fox News, they were saying this.
Yes, they stole from him.
Yeah, they stole his point. They also, I mean, like, it's been going around. There have been a lot of people talking about, you know, Andrew Yang is upset about this. Somebody was retweeting Andrew Yang's tweet from years ago saying that, like, it doesn't help regular people when the stock market goes up and stuff. It is interesting because this is one of those issues where Republicans are not used to being on this side of this issue.
Completely opposite, polar. Absolutely. They're free traders.
Free traders and trickle downers, right? Like the idea like a rising tide lifts all boats. This was the mantra of the Republican Party is you make the whole economy do good and things will be gooder for everybody, right? That, like, when the stock market does well, that means companies are doing well, which means they're hiring people, which means people are doing well, which means et cetera, right? Part of the problem is right now is we've been artificially inflating the stock market with fake money now, right? And so, you know, we were probably due for a correction. This was not necessarily the correction the market had in mind or business people had in mind. A lot of people who backed Trump are very upset with Trump right now. Jamie Dimon and Bill Ackman. And it is interesting because this is definitely a shift in, like, who's the party of the rich people.
Well, totally.
Right?
This person right here, last year, was a Democrat, dyed in the wool holding signs. This person now is an absolute Trump Republican, and he invited this person to be at the Day of Liberation.
So what's the deal with this fucking election now this new chick took over? We all know Kamala's a badass motherfucking union cop who's been cleaning up the streets down in Washington. Think she's had time for other things? Fucking A right she did. Think she's another one of these fancy pants politics fuckfaces? Are you off your coconut? She even worked at Mickey D's. What? You think you're too good for Mickey D's? She's out there letting the American people know that you owe me and my union brothers and sisters a big fat thank you for that weekend you just enjoyed. She's telling those grocery store asshats they better lower their fucking prices or she'll smash their stupid fucking windows in. And when we put this chick in the White House, she's gonna pass the PRO Act to put Uber and Lyft and DoorDash out of business. She'll make sure you join the union or I'm gonna break your fucking face. And I'm still waiting on that thank you.
We like that lady very much. She is now a Trumper. Absolutely. They have. There's been coalition swapping happening now, where Jamie Weinstein and Bill Kristol are now Democrats.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, I was listening to the Dana Perino podcast, and I guess she said that when she graduated college, most college graduates were Republicans, and now they're Democrats.
Yeah, so this is a big shift, and I think this is really like why when Trump was looking at running for president years and years ago, he was looking at running as like an independent, right?
Right.
Because this has been so anathema. This is where Trump has always been furthest from the traditional Republican Party is tariff policy, because Republicans are not the party of tariffs in our modern day, right? That's not.
No.
Yeah, that's not where they've been. They're free traders, and they're also not anti big business and the rich doing better, right? That's been traditionally the Republican position.
Right, yes.
Is that when this Wall Street does better, Main Street will eventually feel it. I tend to still be of the opinion that if this turns into a real bear market and a real downturn and not just a blip weird one day thing, I mean, they're saying 70 countries are asking Trump to negotiate on the tariffs.
Up to 80, yeah.
And that, you know, if this is a blip and things go back to normal, then that's one thing. Then the stocks aren't real and it's all pretend play money anyway, right? If this is a longer term proposition, which Trump has given every indication that it is, he is saying, at least publicly, that they are not open to negotiations and that this is a long term plan to bring manufacturing back to the United States. I did you see what Scott Bessent said about federal employees?
No, do we have it?
I sent it to us pretty recently.
But that said, this is, if this is a long-term bear market thing that happens here, he's still going to have the loyalty of these big labor people forever, because it's all done in the name of protectionism, which, of course, they love. It's highly un-Republican, un-Ronald Reagan as hell, but they're all for it. I mean, look what he did for the longshoremen. I guess maybe we should have seen that. You know, the whole guy behind Joanna.
But I do think that, it's not audio, I don't think. So basically, this is from the Tucker Carlson, or it's from the Tucker Carlson thing, I guess, but this is what he said in the quote that I read. I believe that this is going to work. Blah, blah, blah. We are shedding excess labor in the federal government and bringing down federal borrowings. And then on the other side, that will give us the labor that we need for the new manufacturing here in the U.S., he said.
Ooh, we like that.
So we're going to send all the fired Washington, D.C. bureaucrats who are doing very important high-end research on transing mice or whatever thing we've been told that by the left absolutely is not it, and we're idiots for believing anything, right? All this important research and important stuff they were doing, all these weather service people and park service people and whatever, we're going to put them to work in factories making antibiotics here in the United States, I guess, or something. So, but it is interesting. I do think we are not going to be able to bring significant manufacturing back to the United States without a lot of automation. A lot. Speaking of what he promised the longshoremen, which is not going to take us into the future. We are going to have significant automation in order to be competitive globally. I do think there are reasons, and COVID brought a lot of those to light, like national security reasons and stuff, to endure economic pain in order to have control over our own supply chains. And that if we were ever in a war with China, our situation would be really, really bad because we don't have the capabilities to manufacture things here. Right? I think we saw that during COVID.
Like you said about
the 3M
drugs.
masks. And we manufacture a ton of our antibiotics in China. We'd be screwed if China unleashed the next pandemic. I know antibiotics are for bacterial infections, but many of the COVID deaths are secondary bacterial infections of pneumonia after the COVID has racked the body, right? So it's like you still need the antibiotics. And what happens is that they manufacture all these drugs. If they start turning them away at the Chinese border and say, no, like you can't send these to America, we are effed.
Yes.
We don't have the capability to ramp up to make these things here. Right?
Which, by the way, is a freaking crime. That we're so freaking vulnerable is a absolute crime.
So, and it's interesting because I remember when I was in economics in college, it was sort of the 2008 crash, and it was like pre and then like sort of during, right? But the whole thing with that was that for years at that point, the way to make a lot of money was to get into finance in the United States. And a huge, huge portion of like Harvard's graduating classes, all these top schools in the country were going to make millions and millions of dollars in finance. That's the thing to do in America if you want to make a lot of money.
Yes.
And it became, I think the way one of my professors put it was that it's not that the US doesn't export stuff anymore. It's that the thing that we export, that we're the primary exporter of and the biggest competitor in the world, is we're exporters of financial services. Like all these financial instruments and stuff. And sometimes that's great and sometimes it's not so great, as like the 2008 crash taught us, is that, I mean, the people who came up with that whole sort of scheme of way of doing those swaps and stuff, they had won a Nobel Prize previously for that work. And then after that, they sort of backed off on giving economics Nobel Prizes to people whose work hadn't been like proven out for a long period of time in the real world, because they were a little gun shy because of what had happened with that whole scheme. And the whole thing is that there is value to exporting and creating real stuff and not pretend stuff. And sort of this whole view that that what Wall Street does is like a little bit fake and a little bit monopoly money is part of the worldview that Trump has brought into the White House, right? And it's not that it doesn't reflect reality. These are like real investments in real companies that are doing real stuff. And financial innovations in financial instruments, let's say, and like modern finance and stocks and all this stuff has obviously enabled a lot of growth, economic growth, right? Like that companies are able to essentially raise money this way for their enterprises. Yes. But it also brings with it like an abstraction of what people are doing that in a way is like really unhealthy for society. Right? Like it becomes very abstract. Like what are the people on Wall Street actually doing? And is it real?
Right.
Right? Like, and I would tend to argue as a person who likes finance and economics and operations and all this stuff. Like I think this stuff is cool and interesting. I would argue that it is actually real. And that it really does actually have value, and that it allows growth and it allows people to be invested in the growth of American companies and the American dream. Remember how we talked about the All In podcast and they were talking about how every American should be invested in the stock market? But right now, many, many, many Americans are not invested in the stock market, right? This gets to like Stephen Gloucester's point and all these other people. And so this sort of engine of growth is not something that people feel an actual real world connection to, many people, you know? And so it does feel fake and ephemeral to them. And I don't know. So there's this great quotation from, I know you've never read it, but The Count of Monte Cristo.
I have, en français, as a matter of fact, my friend.
There's a great quote from there. Let me see if I can find it now. But basically this idea that the wealth of the stock market, if the wealth you have is wealth...
Antoine Le Saint-Exupéry.
If the wealth that you have is the type of wealth that a mean tweet can undo... then like to what exactly kind of wealth is that? You know what I mean? Like, is that really real wealth if like a tweet can make you unwealthy? And it's sort of real.
You know, in other words, if you can be canceled, is that what you're saying?
Not just canceled. I'm saying all these people are a lot poorer now.
I see what you're saying.
Because Trump said something like, and people, if your net worth goes up and down based on what Trump said this morning, then like, what is your net worth really worth?
Doesn't that mean that these Wall Street guys are just total bitches? By the way, Alice, I just want to say that our Nvidia stock
has gone down.
No, has gone up. It is now kissing $100. Started off.
That you spent $100.
I spent $94.
Here it is.
It's actually, my account actually is, nobody cares. My account's got $11 in it, so nobody really cares. But for all of the things that I do that are terrible, it's less terrible than it's ever been.
Oh, okay.
I bought the dip.
Okay, so here's what he says in the Count of Monte Cristo.
Holds up.
I make 3 assortments in fortune: first rate, second rate, and third rate fortunes. I call those fortunes first rate, which are composed of what treasures one possesses under one's hand, such as mines, lands, funded property in states such as France, Austria, and England, provided these treasures and property form a total of hundreds of millions. I call a second rate fortune those that are gained by manufacturing enterprises,
This is in the Count of Monte Cristo?
joint stock
Gotta be
companies,
a bear to read in
vice royalties,
French.
and principalities, not drawing more than like 1.5 million francs, the whole forming a capital of about 50 millions. Finally, I call those third-rate fortunes, which are composed of a fluctuating capital, dependent upon the will of others or upon chance, which a bankruptcy involves or a false telegram shakes, such as banks, speculations of the day. In fact, all operations under the influence of greater or less mischances, the whole bringing in a real or fictitious capital of about 15 millions. I think that is about your position, is it not? So basically, but he's saying like what I'm saying here, which is that the more tangible your wealth is, if you have land, then you have land, right?
Of course.
And that has an inherent value no matter what the piece of paper says about how much it's worth. And like, yes, you can, if you live in a country with like crazy laws or punitive taxes, or, you know, where there is no rule of law, so somebody can steal it from you, then you can lose that wealth, right? But it's like, if you live in a stable country, owning land is extremely stable.
Yes.
It might not grow as fast as some other assets, but the further you get from an actual tangible thing, like if you own a factory, that's a little less tangible. Like the value of the factory depends on like having workers and, you know, purchasers of your products and all. There's an inputs like raw materials.
Well, yes.
There's more to a factory. More can go wrong. It's riskier, but it's still fairly tangible. And like as you move further away from that, if you're doing like speculative things, in some cases you're almost to a point where you might be gambling. Like, and there were aspects of that in like the 2008 financial crisis with like credit default swaps and stuff, where essentially people are like gambling on whether or not you're going to default on your mortgage writ large. I mean, that's like the, in essence, what was happening. And
can I talk about when you say it's in essence gambling? First of all, I just sent you a text. Second of all, I'm on my Robinhood account here, Alice, and you know it's showing all the stuff I have that up and down. There's once again there's under 100. There's like $160 worth of stuff. It has above the Robinhood Gold thing that I'm looking at. This is cash I have on hand. My next payday, by the way, is going to be this month. It's going to be for $0.
okay.
It says above it. It says, "Did you know the college basketball tournament market is still live? Trade on who you think will win." Talk about gambling. Trade on who you think will win, but we're not gambling here. Wow.
I mean, and people gamble on all kinds of things, and these are, you know, modern financial instruments in a sense, but I also tend to think it's kind of not great. And I think that it's not great, not just like on an individual basis. Obviously, speculative finance has made some people very, very rich. And some of it has made fantastic companies. People have been early investors in companies that have built amazing things in the modern world as we know it today, essentially, right?
Sure.
But I do think there's an aspect, and I think this gets at the heart of like when people talk about, I mean, we're obviously capitalists, but when people talk about socialism and like why young people don't like capitalism and sort of the mythology of the union originally, right? That they're like fighting the greedy capitalists.
Of course.
And the money people. There's like the money people and the labor people, right? And that's like kind of the inputs into a lot of economics equations is capital and labor.
Got it.
That you invest into something. And so these two things are kind of in opposition, and conceptually we have sort of an innate sense that there's something like a little bit immoral about being the money person.
Sure.
You know, there's something about it where it's like the guy who just puts in the money and doesn't really do the work is somehow not as deserving as the person who's like really working with the machine all day, right?
That's
like the
Occupy
mythos,
Wall Street. Yes.
right? That's the mythos of the working man, but that's an idea that goes back to, I mean, realistically, labor movements, Marxism, all of that, right?
Okay.
But that's a lot of what Trump is drawing on when people are saying that Wall Street doesn't impact working people and they don't feel that they have a piece of it, that they're a part of it, like we talked about with the All In podcast saying this, and why there's glee at Wall Street crashing, even though it is going to impact people. But I just think it's interesting because this is a huge historic switching of where these parties were on this issue, which is a very big issue that's like really, I think, a philosophical issue about what the value of work is versus what the value of capital investments are, right, as a society. And I think that as we move towards being a society where, you know, we don't value labor as much, particularly people who work with their hands. And these are questions that get at the heart of like, what's going to happen with AI? What's going to happen with more automation? What's going to happen
with political parties?
Right.
Because this is not the GOP, and the Democrats aren't the Democratic Party anymore. The Democrats are extremist progressive now. They're for foreign intervention. They're certainly for globalism. I guess they have been for a while on that, but I mean, they're far afield. And now the Republicans are the party of labor, the party of protectionism, the party of Trump, which who knows ideologically like what that is. It depends if, I mean, he just wants to win. So he's willing to adapt the parameters of the party to win the day.
But I think Trump also, in a big way, represents kind of this weird balancing act between the two philosophies, right? Because he's obviously benefited greatly from, you know, financial speculation. People have invested in him, made great investments. He's made money. And so he sort of uniquely, for a politician anyway, uniquely understands the value of both aspects. He understands that to actually get a building built, you need people making the building get built, and you also need money people. He really has, in a lot of ways, respect for both aspects of the equation that go into making something. And there's always a lot of discussion in sort of startup worlds about having companies that do things with atoms and not bits. Right?
Yes.
This idea that like, and you'll hear people say this, like, I was promised flying cars and instead I have a burrito taxi, as we talked about the burrito taxis on, you know, the other thing. But even that is like pretty real world compared to like these apps. Every startup is making an app for you to do something. Many of them are utterly disconnected from the real world and anything that happens in real life.
Can I ask you a question? You don't remember the 96 senatorial election in Massachusetts, I assume. It was Romney versus Ted Kennedy.
No.
But you do remember Romney running in 2012 versus Obama. And it was all these stories about Romney going in with his hedge fund and gutting companies and taking away their health care and killing people and throwing old people. Could a hedge fund guy run as a Republican?
No. I don't know that one could run in either party right now.
I think you're right. And you look at the UAW guys and all those. Like, could that guy, the shipbuilders guy, ever gotten along with Mitt Romney? The longshoreman guy? Donna doesn't like Mitt Romney. She thinks he's a pussy.
Yeah.
So Romney now, and we're almost literally, is a Democrat. And like, so is Reagan.
I know.
Yes.
I mean, so it's interesting because there's been all this sort of conversation about atoms, not bits, and, you know, companies that make an app that that's totally disconnected from the real world. And Wall Street, in many ways, to lots of people, feels totally disconnected from the real world too, right? And there's this AI stuff and the finance stuff and all these things that are essentially like taking people's jobs in a big way, whether it's through a big venture capital company coming in and laying off people, cutting a company to the bone and just extracting wealth from it. Or whether it's AI coming in and replacing a bunch of people, there is something that feels immoral to people about that.
Well, yeah.
Right?
Can we say immoral and heartless and cold? And so, like, with my own thing, being at the Boston Herald, you remember the hedge fund people who had, I don't think, maybe they visited the Herald once. I don't even know who ended up buying it. They put a regional guy to run the downsizing and the cutting, the cleaving off of all the Herald, of all the assets, and all the archives in these big, beautiful wooden filing cabinets, all of the archive clips of everything that the Herald and other newspapers that were regional had, who became the Boston Herald, all of the all these little clips. Marilyn Monroe visits Boston, or Grant does something in Boston. Something like that. All of these clips, the Herald just threw them out. Destroyed them, but the editor tried to get them to a college. It was too expensive, whatever, and that's all gone. And the same thing with the Lowell Sun, when it was they threw out all the old pictures and all, like, they give a flying bleep. And
it feels anti-human.
It does feel anti-human, and it's wrong and bad, and just amazing. I mean, it's just an amazing thing. But that puts us looking at the Romneys, who were coming in to save us. But all they did is gut the place. And so, they saved. There still is a Boston Herald out there right now, but it's only nominally out there. Right. It's like, so it's a better story to tell is to care about this stuff. And I would put that counter to I'm going to get to the Washington Post stuff, because there are unions and there are unions. And so now the Post has an opposite story, and Jeff Bezos is losing $100 million a year on this. It's a project to keep an old institution alive. And
for which they will forever hate him. Exactly.
Absolutely. And so
out of the goodness of his heart, he keeps them all employed, and they freaking despise him and want to stab him in his sleep. It's wild.
And so they are unionizing. The tech workers there are unionizing. And this guy is keeping them alive, and they're making freaking demands. Can you imagine? And so I look at the longshoremen. They're more honorable than these pukes.
I mean,
these absolutely babied ingrates.
And I'll tell you, it's going to be interesting to see what happens, because, I mean, these unions have fought automation in all kinds of spheres for a long time, right? And the longshoremen have been fighting automation. These tech workers are not immune. Anybody who's looking at what these AI
it's also the wrong time, because you don't have a real business. It's his project.
Right. Hey, Monday, but can I add one thing about that quickly? I'll let you get to it. But this is the wrong company to mess with on this front, because Amazon is making huge strides in agentic AI right now on the Amazon side.
Maybe this is why they're getting together.
That, and
right, of course he does.
And he owns a company that's literally developing agentic AI.
We demand you liquidate Amazon World Service, Web Service, whatever it is.
Yeah, it's not Amazon Web Service, but it's for their
AWS.
it's for their shopping.
Right,
Essentially, they're developing AI agents that can shop for you.
Amazing.
So that I don't even have to go on Amazon anymore. I can be like, oh, I need a swimsuit for my trip, and it will go out and pick something because it knows what I like and everything, and buy it for me, and I don't even have to do anything. So, I mean, these things are going to be one of the things these AI things are very, very good at is coding.
Right, but these people are really important. Hold on.
Today, Monday, April 7th, we go public as the Washington Post Tech Guild. We're the workers who build and power the Post and many other newsrooms across the U.S.
6, 7, 8,
Negotiate. 1, 2, 3, 4. We won't settle anymore.
Well, I'm doing this because I've worked here for 25 years. I love the Post. I mean, I read.
I don't understand. I worked here for 25 years. Don't you understand? You're the most replaceable person you could possibly be talking to. You haven't worked there for 25 years. The new Post is not the Post. 25 years ago was the final days, the swan song days of the Post making money.
Right.
Read the Post growing up. I'm passionate about the mission.
Also, it sucks too.
And I want to make it a better place for tech workers.
Their often invisible work is as pivotal and essential to the Post as the reporting, and they deserve
Are they as essential to the Post as the reporting?
No.
No.
fair wages, job protections, and a seat at the table.
I'm gonna keep it short. They give us bread, but we also deserve our roses. And we stood up.
Oh, that's low for going to your American labor master's degree in bread and roses.
I just looked up because I was curious. How many employees? Well, I'll just tell you that in 2000, according to the internet, the Boston Herald had 900 employees at its peak. How many people do you think work at the Boston Herald now?
75.
Oh, I bet less than that. I think there were 75 when you were there.
Yeah, you're probably right. But I'm thinking of like everybody involved, like all the circular guys, sales, circulation. It's regional.
But a lot of that's probably been put into like main company offices in totally other states.
I mean, there's no
right?
office, so there's no way to tell.
Yeah, it's hard to say. It says 2018 there was 110 employees.
Yeah, there's not that many anymore.
Yeah, so I mean, way less than that now. Anyway, it's sad, but this is going this way. Like this is just how this is.
But I
It's
get
not
the
coming
freaking
back.
sense of entitlement of these people. I don't feel sad for them getting fired. I want them to be fired.
And we stood up and we said, well, what if we formed a union? And that's what we did, and that's what y'all are doing here today.
I'm just so proud of everybody I work with, and I've never felt this much loving a job like this. And it's because of the union, and it's because of the people I work with.
Oh, whack those people. Can't happen soon enough. There's one more video I want to play. Hold on.
Engineers and QA engineers.
Designers.
Who power the Post. Software engineers and QA engineers.
Designers, data analysts, and data scientists.
Help desk technicians, processing plant engineers,
project and product managers, and so much more.
AI.
We're forming the Washington Post Tech Guild to build a more equitable, transparent,
and sustainable future for all tech workers at the
Bezos
Post.
put them on notice this year. The equitable stuff is over. He put them on notice this year to stop it.
Maybe he'll get tired of burning money employing you guys for no reason.
You know who doesn't form a union? Is Chat GTP or B, whatever it is.
Workplace that confronts and resolves inequities in hiring, pay, and career growth.
No, that guy's not at all a pain in the ass. You don't want to get rid of him at all. We want to confront inequities, sir. What freak are you guys thinking? It's like Kmart workers unionizing right now.
Wasn't it the New York Times Tech Workers Guild who had all those demands last fall too? Who said they were going to disrupt the Times' election reporting unless they had like fragrance-free break rooms and stuff?
Yes. Oh.
Meaningful voice in the decisions that shape our work and our professional futures.
Fair pay and benefits that reflect the crucial roles we play every day.
Protection.
I host a radio show in a station where it's just me talking through 3 hours, and I could not say with a straight face that I have a crucial role in the radio station. I mean, even if I possibly do, I could never say it. Imagine that.
I'm really important.
I play a crucial role. I would never think of I think my contract is up this June. If I go to them, by the way, if you haven't noticed, I play a crucial role. You know what's happening? I'm going away.
They won't send you a new contract.
But I'm going away. We're going away in a few days. Mm-hmm. Yeah, guys. So Wednesday's our last show this week. Then we're off for a week, just so because we're hitting the road. During when I'm going away, Alice, you know what they're playing? They're playing. I think they're playing Eric Erickson or Brian Kilmeade.
Okay.
Syndication.
So
what happens in June when they say, "Look at Tom Shattuck here. Look at this. Look at this line item over here. Let's see what happened when he went away." Not too much, really.
Against unjust termination and guaranteed support for colleagues affected by layoffs.
An autonomy to choose how and where we work best.
These priorities represent a first step in our commitment to building an equitable and sustainable workplace.
For all Washington Post Tech Guild members.
We deserve the same fairness, transparency, and respect that our readers expect from our journalism.
We are united in the commitment to truth and integrity.
My name is Jack.
My name is Adam.
My name is Patrick Slowensky.
My name is Lucio.
My name is Kyle.
My name is Luke.
My name is David.
My name is Jessica.
My name is John.
My name is Mike.
My name is Lisa.
My name is Denise, and we are the Washington Post Tech Guild.
Whoever came up with the montage, say my name, say my name, say my name. That person should be the first one to be executed in front of everybody. Fired, I mean. All those people need to be fired immediately. They are not essential. They are not crucial.
I think it's illegal to fire people because they're forming a union, technically. Hopefully.
I'm just saying that that's not why you fire them. You make up a reason, obviously, Alice. Just find kiddie porn on their computers. Install kiddie porn on their computers. I think I knew a guy who... I think I knew a guy who worked for a company that... where they wanted to whack somebody and they wanted him to find something like that. And I don't know if he did it, but I think something that happened.
A lot of commentary in the chat on your jacket, by the way.
Oh, still? Oh, yeah.
And
you got my great shirt on, too.
And the pocket.
Oh, yeah.
Complaints
this pocket.
about the pocket.
Over here? Oh, yeah, it's a great pocket. It's for my phone. It goes right in there.
There was speculation that it's a chest-feeding pocket.
Dare you. A little bit tight.
They want you to burn it.
This jacket?
Mm-hmm.
It's not a jacket. It is material. It's material. It's furry, Fozzie Bear brown material. It actually is starting to unravel.
Splash says he wants to see me choke you with the jacket.
I understand that. It is.
Tommy in New Hampshire says the chat is unionizing and going on strike until the ugly jacket goes away.
How dare you? How dare you? I do have some other stuff is in the wash. There's a logistic problem here. I do, believe me, I am astounded at how I dress. You guys don't even see my feet. I have sandals on. Usually it's white socks. My daughter at least says that she's embarrassed when I go into her singing lessons with her. At least she says it. I can't imagine. They must be horrified. Holy. Okay, Alice, do you want to get to the Kai Wolves?
Dire wolves. See, how can today be a bad day? Because not only do we get to have the word Panican entering the lexicon, but dire wolves have been brought back from the dead. Time did this big article on it. There have not been dire wolves for 10,000 years, but they made new ones. They edited
CRISPR.
a wolf DNA into a direwolf DNA. They copied a direwolf DNA, and then they used a dog as a surrogate mother, and they birthed 3 direwolves now, 2 boys and 1 girl.
I know, here they are. Want to hear them?
Mm-hmm.
That's the direwolf kits.
Well, they're puppies. Yeah, they're babies still. I assume that'll get a little more impressive as they go.
As soon as they become ferocious, I assume, yes.
Yeah, but
maybe the direwolf is the new pitted bull.
We saw a bunch of their skulls in the La Brea Tar Pits Museum, which was my favorite part of our whole California trip. It was amazing.
By the way, where the term saber-toothed tiger is not not
it's a saber-toothed cat.
Now they're like teeth cats or something. It's freaking absolutely
there's
amazing.
Direwolves. They're also looking at bringing back woolly mammoths. They formed a woolly mouse.
Oh, that would be good. I'd be for that.
And they're woolly mammoths in general, or just woolly mice. They basically bred, or they put woolly mammoth hair onto a mouse. This is
good because Alice won't know either of these names, but people are getting now. They've gotten Louis Rukeyser Alice. Now they're getting Jack Hanna Alice. Do you know who those people are, Alice?
Jack Hanna sounds like it's like a animal thing.
Because I said, right. That's deduction. Very well done. Wow. It's like Jedi techniques.
It just sounds vaguely familiar, though. I feel like, but yeah. So
do you know who Louis Rukeyser is?
No,
this is a finance guy.
But they're doing. They want to do woolly mammoths, but they're also concerned about the ethics of it because woolly mammoths live in herds. So they think it would be like cruel to have like one woolly mammoth. That would be mean to
make 1,000 woolly mammoths. That's great. the gray wolves in
dire wolves, and they're also increasing genetic diversity of the red wolf population to help them live longer, which is also cool. But they're doing a lot of neat stuff. New Hampshire says they never learn. We keep effing with nature. It's true. This is definitely going to screw things up. That was another example.
All the bees are dead, by the way. Did you hear this?
No, the bees aren't dead.
The bees are dead, and I'm all for it. Anything that stings or bites, out of here. Sayonara. I want the bees dead. I want tarantulas dead.
They're gonna bring back what are they called? Thylacine, the Tasmanian tiger.
Oh yeah, those are
dodos.
Badass.
We could do dodos.
No, thank you.
Passenger pigeons. I can't believe we missed passenger pigeons. They used to blot out the sun in the United States. They were so plentiful.
I am for blotting out the sun.
So, anyway, I'm really excited about this. We're gonna screw up the world. They're like, oh, we can bring back all these animals that we've made go away. We can right the wrongs of what we've done. But that never, like Tommy, New Hampshire saying, goes well. So it is gonna be exciting that we can now mess with things in new and exciting ways. And
hey, Alice, you up for a coffee?
Want to grab a coffee?
Sure.
Do you not get that?
Yeah, because you wanted to grab a coffee with Diana DeZoglio.
Exactly. Oddly enough, she's been silent since
she hasn't responded?
Oddly enough.
Has she not blocked you yet?
Maybe she has, but well, I
wouldn't see her.
Yeah. I think it's fair to say. She's blocked me. It's better for everybody.
Hey.
By the way, let the record show, if I'm going to have an extramarital coffee.
You want it to be with Diana DeZoglio.
I mean, who's better in this state? Seriously. Right?
I guess.
Who's better? Oh, although the blonde chick who used to run the Republican Party, she was pretty hot. What's her name?
Kirsten
Hughes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or Kristen Hughes, something like that.
Kirsten. Yeah. Other than that, I'm out of people. You can't help me?
There's no other hot people in the state?
Well, there's the MILFs around here, but I mean, should I reach out to them?
Sure, you know what? Sure.
Guys, I'm not breaking chops and trying to be sincere about it, but I've heard your last couple of shows where you've talked about out loud what you guys are going to do during the break. Here's my advice.
Yeah.
Take the time off, be with your families, and put this stuff aside. You guys aren't Walter Cronkite and Barbara Walters where, oh my God, if you guys aren't on, it's the be-all, end-all, and there's nothing else we can do. We're fine.
Whoa. What's the alternative? What are you doing?
Yeah, what else do you have to do?
Yeah, who are you going to? Don't go anywhere. You're staying with us.
You can only listen to old episodes of us.
Yeah, nobody goes anywhere. Don't know that there are better options out there. That does not work for us.
Can we set up a live stream and just not live stream anything? Just have them chat?
Have it in the room. The dog will be here. Why don't you just have the dog walk back and forth?
We can listen to other things.
No.
Jerry was off for a while over a contract dispute.
That's right.
We found other things to listen to.
No.
Menahan's been gone for 6 weeks.
Yeah.
We've listened to other things to fill the time. So please, guys, take the time off. It will totally be fine. The 7 people who have a Patreon account and pay you guys will be okay with the break. Have fun. Enjoy it.
Nobody goes anywhere. Everybody stays here. Reminds me. Oh,
Tommy New Hampshire says he recommends the divorce season of the show.
That's right. That's right. That's certainly.
That was one of our highest rated seasons.
If you've only been listening for like 2 years now, go back 2 years in a month. You will. You remember a little thing called 9/11?
It was good to hear Justin come back to the chat last
we go.
week. I hope that's a good sign that things are going well for everything he's got going on with his family and loved ones. But inquiring minds want to know what happened to Leslie. I totally missed hearing her messages. She's always very candid, funny, intelligent, obviously has a very cute voice. But if you guys heard anything, what happened to her?
Alice?
Have not heard anything.
Hopefully, you know, some people
come and
meander.
go. You
They come
take
and
your
go.
time.
She come and go.
We don't chase anyone. We don't force people to do anything.
I chase people. I force people.
I don't force anybody to do anything. Thank you so much for listening, everybody. You are always welcome, whether you're on Patreon or not. If you want to join the Patreon, though, that's at patreon.com/burnbarrel.
From the mind of Mindy Kaling.
If you just like listening for free, you can do that too at burnbarrelpodcast.com. There's links to different places to listen, podcast apps, YouTube, Rumble, etc.
Broadway.
Oh, I missed that.
Understanding
anyway, we will
that
see you
the
guys tomorrow.
diversity of this community, as distinct as the Bogotas of the Bronx,